Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Calvin. I'm talking with Igor Amadeus Cavalera. How's it going?
I'm doing good, Kelvin. Thanks for having me. Another beautiful day on tour today.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, I saw you in Go Ahead and Die Albuquerque last month, about a month ago or so, and I got a chance to talk with you guys, you and your dad Max. So that was pretty cool, just having a quick chat.
Yeah, no, that show was actually great. Albuquerque was one of our favorite ones, actually. The launch pad was a awesome venue, really packed and really good energy from the crowd. So that was actually a really fun night for us.
Yeah, me and my brother were there, and my brother was just saying like that's like probably the best venue in Albuquerque to go to, just because it's like all ages, like kids, like high school kids, and you don't have to be 21 to get in. So there's a lot of kids just and they're there for the music, and they're not, they're just there for the music, and they're usually the ones like that are like moshing and being the
Yeah.
most like active in the crowd. It's a really
Oh,
cool
oh,
spot.
definitely. Yeah, no, the all ages shows are always better for us. And the crowds have actually been really interesting on this tour, the mix up between younger kids and old heads that were into Sepultura and stuff like that back in the day. And we definitely noticed the all ages shows are usually better and rowdier. And like you said, the kids aren't there to drink and party and get crazy. They're just there for the music and to mosh and jump around, have fun. So that always reflects our show as well. When there's that high energy from the crowd, it's better for us as well.
Yeah, no, that was great. And I know you guys are gonna like you guys are on tour right now, and you're gonna kind of make your way back to the Southwest. And
Yeah, we for the last week we've been in the Upper East, well, Boston actually got canceled, but we've been in Vermont and Pennsylvania and New York City, and we had a great show at Vitus. And yeah, now we're kind of making our way west again. This tour was basically a big circle of the whole country, and I'm excited to get back west again. That's home for me, and seeing mountains and deserts and things like that again always makes me really excited. Especially after 2 months being away from home. So yeah, we're in Columbus today, and we just slowly start making our way back west again.
Yeah, I mean, if my schedule works out, I want to check out that Phoenix show. I know that's like one of the last days of the tour, and I don't know yet, but hopefully it works out. But I'm crossing my fingers I can go ahead and see that show again.
Yeah, that would be cool. And we were supposed to play Yuma originally, which I was actually really excited about. I've never played Yuma, and I was curious to see what the scene was like out there. Sometimes the smaller towns actually give a better turnout than big cities, because they don't get as many shows. They're more appreciative in the smaller towns. But having it replaced with Phoenix was a positive to us because that's our hometown and that's where I grew up. I was born and raised there, and getting the end of tour at home is one of the best things. It's like you see your friends, family, have an awesome show, and get to go home afterwards. Instead of we've done tours where we play the hometown in the middle of the tour, and it's kind of a tease. It's like you get to go home for a couple hours and maybe take a shower and do laundry, but then you got to jump back on the bus and keep going. So for me, ending the tour is actually, that's a blessing. And I'm super excited about that show. It's a killer lineup and really cool club and should be a lot of fun. I hope you can make it. Definitely.
Yeah, one of the things too, there's a band that I think that is advertised on the flyer, Alliance. They're from like the San Carlos Apache Reservation. So that right there, that would be like enough for me to like go check them out. I love that band.
Yeah, no, they're a good band. I think I saw them in Flagstaff. I was living in Flagstaff for a year, and really good guys, really nice guys, really supportive. And with my family, we're totally supportive of the indigenous metal and tribal metal and things like that. So having them on the bill really, I don't know, it really sends it home that it's an Arizona gig.
Mhm. Heck yeah. Yeah, before we kind of get into the Go Ahead and Die kind of stuff, I want to just quickly talk about Healing Magic. I got this disc from that show with Cavalera in Albuquerque, and I just wanted to know like about healing magic, kind of like how it started and like plans for healing magic.
Yeah, no, we have tons. Healing magic is actually kind of I would say like my baby, but that's where I put I would say like the most creative effort towards songwriting and storytelling and things like that. And we started back in 2018. Actually, I was in a band called Lodi Kong, and Lodi Kong basically kind of dissolved. Our guitar player had joined Pig Destroyer, and my brother, who was our drummer, was in Soulfly, and I noticed I was just spending a lot of time at home, kind of waiting for these guys. Nothing against them. We're all friends, and we're all still family and whatever. But yeah, Lodi Kong, it was really just too hard to link us all together. With two of the three members being in these very successful, busy bands. So Healing Magic was actually kind of born out of that, and it was an idea that I had for a while to do something in the sludge, psychedelic, trippier side of metal. Because that's probably my favorite type of metal is the more sludgy, noisy, even post metal kind of stuff. Like Neurosis or Acid Bath. I Hate God, like bands like that. That was always a huge influence for me. And so Healing Magic was my first attempt at doing something in that vein of music. And I started it with Johnny Baez, who's actually drumming with us with Go Ahead and Die now. It was just the two of us, and we molded over and talked about it a lot about should we have a bass player, second guitar player, maybe even keyboards or samplers or this or that. And the more we kept playing it, the more we were just sort of like, I think this just needs to be the two of us, and that's sort of how we wound up doing the duo kind of thing, just guitars and drums. And I actually play my guitar through three cabinets, two guitar cabinets and a bass cabinet. So it's a massive wall of sound just coming from two people. And that was ultimately our goal, was to be this intense, slow, but also crushingly heavy, weird kind of band, and as of plans for Healing Magic, we're actually currently writing our second record. The one you just held up was Volume One Fire, and that's actually the first installment of a 4 album saga, I guess you could call it, or epic, or a tale, or something. But it's basically the idea is it's kind of a story of good and evil, and right and wrong, human growth, mentality, evolution, things like that. Set in this dystopian fantasy. I hate to say Lord of the Rings style, but kind of Lord of the Rings style type stuff. And for me, that band has just been really so much fun and such an amazing thing to work on. Like I said, 4 albums that are all going to tie in together and kind of tell the same story. And yeah, so actually after this tour, we're planning to continue writing our second record and hopefully record it by the end of the year. We did the first one, Fire, with Steve Austin from Today's the Day. He recorded like Lamb of God and Converge and lots of other very successful bands, and he did such a great job on our first record that we're considering working with him again for the second one. But yeah, in the meantime, we need to write a couple more songs and flesh out the ideas a little bit more. But no, there is definitely more Healing Magic stuff to come. Shows, things like that. We're trying to plan a tour for this year, if not early next year, and just get back out on the road with it and get more music out there. Because me and Johnny, we both really love doing that band, and we're not going to stop for anything. Despite being in other bands and having other things going on, we always find the time to work on Healing Magic.
Yeah, I was just listening to it today, just driving around, and yeah, it reminds me of like I don't know, like that early mid 90s, like yeah, like sludge stoner metal, like Faminchu and like Caius. Yeah, I really dig that. And even there are parts that remind me of like Dark Throne. I don't know, maybe it was just the guitar tones, but I really dig
Yeah,
it.
the
Look forward to it. More
mashup.
the new album. Yeah, I really look forward to it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and it's for us, growing up in Phoenix, the desert will always have a very special place in my heart, and um, there's just something like mystic and dreamy and inspiring about the desert. So like you were saying, driving around any Southwest state, whether it's New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah. That in my opinion, it's a perfect album for that, and that's sort of the intentions that we had behind it. Was this big open spacey kind of thing that reflects the desert. To me, the landscape is infectious to the music, and vice versa. The music fits the landscape, and um, each album being about a different element. This first one was fire. This next one will be earth. Air and water are going to come after that. It's kind of a spiritual process, and it's definitely kind of paying respect and homage to the desert itself, to the land.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you guys played at the Navajo Metal Fest. Was it last year, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I did
Yeah. How was that? How was that
2022.
experience?
Yeah, it was great. Honestly, it was so much fun, and it was actually kind of by the seat of my pants because Johnny, um, he ended up having some personal things going on and wasn't able to make it, but it was very last minute, so I didn't want to cancel. So I got I got a hold of a couple friends who learned the songs in 2 days.
Wow.
We didn't rehearse them. We just showed up and we're like, let's just give it our best. You know what I mean? And it actually went off a lot better than I expected. Having no rehearsals and two drummers filling in to play like 7 songs. It was a little crazy for me, but the experience itself was amazing. And driving through the Four Corners, almost Monument Valley area just to get to the show was such a scenic, beautiful part of the country to get to see. And then we get there and there's tons of people. There was tons of fans, and the Navajo reservation really pulled up and showed support, and those kids were going crazy, and that made me so happy. Because I know a lot of bands skip over that part of the country, and a lot of bands will skip over playing the res, playing Tuba City or Gallup or any of those towns. And to me, I was like so excited to do it. I was like, because these kids are going to go off, and they need the metal out there, they need the music, and they appreciate it. And getting to be on that bill was so much fun. Not to mention there was Robert Trujillo's kid was playing there, and Robert Trujillo himself was hanging out. I looked over side stage while I was playing, and there's my dad and Robert Trujillo like rocking out, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking Metallica and Sepultura right there, watching us play this crazy sludgy psychedelic stuff, and the whole experience was really cool. And despite Johnny not being there, I'm still glad that we pulled through and made it happen. And hopefully we can come back again and do it with Johnny and let people see the real experience, because me and him are a lot tighter on the songs, and have had years and years to play them. So I'm totally willing to get back up there and play some more shows because it was a great experience.
Yeah, I was there. It was sick. It was the I think the Suicide Silence headlining
Yeah,
show, but yeah, no, I was I mean I live pretty close. I live like 10 miles away, so it was like worked out for me. I could just like drive over there and I don't have to like, drive 4 hours to get home after the show. So
yeah.
it was cool to have that local show.
No, definitely.
And then was it and then like after this, I understand you were part of the Cavalera lineup last year with the Morbid Devastation tour. Um
Yeah, I'm staying busy.
I got a chance to catch that last in Albuquerque in that last fall.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, we had a really good show. That was actually another show where we put 2 tours together. So there was I think like Enforced played on it, and a couple other like death metal thrash bands. And yeah, getting to do the Cavalera stuff was a huge opportunity for me. And I was actually kind of surprised that they wanted me to do it, because there would be, a million people biting to have that opportunity. And they could have went with somebody with a bit more of a reputation or a name, or somebody from their era of music. There's a lot of guys that would have been willing to do it, and when they asked me, I was like, wait, really? You guys want me to do this? I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. And yeah, getting to record Morbid Visions and the Bestial Devastation EP was amazing. And they were tough songs to learn. Actually, they're very fast and very complicated. Some of those songs have 9 or 10 riffs just on the one song. And for me, it was a challenge, but it was a very welcome challenge. And yeah, we finally hit the road for those last September. We did the U.S. run, where we played Albuquerque among many other places. And that was an awesome tour. We had Exhumed on it with us, and it was basically all friends and family. Insight was opening it up, and that tour was great. And about a month after that, we went to Europe and did another 4 weeks over there. And the whole the whole vibe of the tour was just very surreal. Playing to huge crowds and playing to these massive old theaters, and just almost like historic places to play. It was sort of mind blowing for me because despite being a Cavalera and being around all of this stuff, I'm very used to being an opening band. I'm very used to anytime Healing Magic does stuff, we're excited if there's 50 people there. We're like, wow, 50 people came out to see Healing Magic. That's amazing. So seeing 1,000 people in front of me to play Cavalera stuff was almost a little bit intimidating, and a little bit, the nerves were kind of on red alert. But I think we all handled it really well. And playing with my dad and uncle was just amazing. And you know, coming from playing small clubs with my own bands, and like I said, having much smaller crowds, to playing these huge shows was just super, almost dreamlike. It was a couple times I was just like, wow, is this really happening right now? So it was amazing. And I'm really fortunate for the opportunity. And we're actually going to be going to Europe again in June to do the festival circuit. So that's gonna be another crazy, slightly intimidating experience. But I'm really looking forward to it. And there's tons of news coming with Cavalera, in the near future. So definitely keep your eyes out for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of like just anything that your dad puts out. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers for like a Return Chaos AD tour. That'd be sick. And then
Hey, you
yeah. I wanted to ask you mentioned um your former bandmate in Lodi Kong who's in Pig Destroyer. Was he also involved with that tour?
Yes, yeah, that's a one of my best friends actually. His name's Travis Stone.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in, actually. I'll give you a little breakdown of how I know him. He was in a death metal band from Baltimore called Noisem, and every time Noisem would play Phoenix, I'd have them stay at my house and make him a home cooked meal, and we'd go like swimming and party and have fun. And that was sort of how I met him. And yeah, in 2015 he joined Lodi Kong, which was my old kind of hardcore meets crossover. I don't really know what to call Lodi Kong. We were kind of a weird band as well. And yeah, we toured Lodi Kong for like 3 or 4 years together. And yeah, he got the offer to join Pig Destroyer. Like I said, he's out of Maryland, and Pig Destroyer's out of Maryland. So it was a moment where I realized like, oh, we're probably gonna lose you, but go do it. I was like, I'm totally supportive. Like, Pig Destroyer is one of the sickest bands ever. And it really weirdly worked out where Pig Destroyer had a year off and Cavalera needed a lead guitar player. and Travis is just an absolute shredder. Like he's one of those guys. He can hear a song one time and play it back to you. Just learn it by ear like it's nothing. So I had suggested using him, and my dad was on board, my uncle was on board, and he was one of my best friends. So I was really happy to have him there, and he actually he did an amazing job and really crushed it and brought those solos to life, and had great stage presence and everything like that. So yeah, over the years, me and him have been kind of in and out of different projects, but at the end of the day, it's all love, and he's one of my best friends, and no matter if we're jamming together or jamming in separate bands, like I'm always rooting for him.
Yeah, I was at that show. I was like right up front, watching from like the guardrail, and I was like standing right in front of him. And yeah, like just see him like just rip on guitar, and he had like the studded like just the
Gauntlet,
spikes. Yeah,
we
the
call them.
gauntlet. Yeah, the
Yeah.
spike gauntlet. And yeah, I was like, man, this is intense. Like it was just yeah, just like one of the best shows I went to last year.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. No, I mean,
yeah,
for
that was
me,
sick.
it was one of the funnest things to play for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, and then like shortly after that tour, Go Ahead and Die came out with the unhealthy mechanisms, which we could talk about. Um, yeah, so I just, like I said, I just saw you guys, but it was actually my second time seeing you guys. I saw the show. Where's my? Oh, here we go. I don't know if you could see this, but my ticket stub from that show was in
Oh
2021.
yeah, the one show we did before this tour. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I was there, and
line up and you know.
yeah, no, I was like I saw that tour, that Soulfly tour in Albuquerque. I think it was like maybe the first or second show of that tour. And then it was similar to what you guys are doing. It was like a big route around the country that ended in Phoenix. So yeah, it worked out. I got to go to Phoenix and check out I wanted to go mainly for the Go Ahead and Die set. And so yeah, that was a sick show. And yeah, uh I remember you guys played like pretty much the whole album, this whole album, like from front to back. And then I think afterwards I was trying to get the set list, and I think some little kid caught the set list, and then I think I paid that little kid $100 for the set list. So the
Really.
set list is somewhere like in my junk, but yeah, it
Oh,
was
that's
an amazing set, and I was like really glad to see that. I felt really lucky and fortunate to see that set because yeah, I mean it took 2 years for Go Ahead and Die to kind of like play in front of the whole country, so that was a really cool like experience.
yeah. No, Go Ahead and Die was definitely it was an interesting process all the way through because it really started as just a project. It was something that my dad and I did during COVID. During lockdown, we had all this time, and every tour on the planet got canceled. And we were like, let's do this idea we've been kicking around. We'd had the idea to do something that was, kind of death metal, kind of grind, kind of thrash, kind of crust punk. Let's take all those old school influences and blend it up into the same thing. But we never really had a chance to do it. He's so busy between all of his bands, and I was starting Healing Magic, and trying to get all these different projects off the ground. So Go Ahead and Die actually started as just let's make an album and see how it goes kind of thing. And by the time we finished the first one, we were just really in love with it and really proud of the work that we had come up with, and it received a great reaction from the audience. So it was almost immediately agreed upon that let's do another record. And I actually started writing most of it myself. On Unhealthy Mechanisms, our second record, I'm actually credited as the main producer, because I started writing a lot of it, while my dad was on tour, and just kind of demoing it on my phone, like sitting in my apartment, coming up with riffs, just by myself. And like a few songs into that second album, we were kind of just like, this rocks. Let's finish this record. Let's get it out there and let's do a tour. So we started putting efforts towards it, but things are very slow process when you're on a major label. You have to get the recording done, you have to do the art, you have to do the promotional, you have to, plan the release date, you have to do a whole campaign for the release date, then you need a tour to go with it. You got to book the tour, you got to come up with the budget, everything in between. But we did start working on it as far back as like 2021. Just after the first record came out, we actually started working on it already. And to me, that second record was an improvement upon the first one. Not to say the first one isn't good. I love that first record, but we were still kind of figuring out our sound and getting our feet wet. And I think on this second one, we really just nailed it. Like I said, the cross between all these different influences, taking the crust punk of like Discharge and Doom, mixing it with the, death metal, like, Entombed and Bolt Thrower and stuff like that. And then, a little splice of like old school Napalm Death, grindcore. We finally found that good balance between all of it on Unhealthy Mechanisms. And to be on the road playing it and seeing the audience's reaction to the songs, and getting positive feedback and stuff, it just means the world to me, because we worked so hard on it, and worked for a couple of years to get this to where it is, where it's taking off now. And it's just been an enjoyable experience all the way through, and getting to jam with my dad and with Jackie and Johnny, on bass and drums it's just been great. There's no complaints from my end.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. I'm like I said, I've just been a big fan of this album, and I was just I knew this was going to be an amazing album. So yeah, I was like one of my favorites of last year, one of my favorite death metal albums of last year.
Oh,
I was
thank
like, yeah, last week I was like, I was like driving around and I was listening to Sirius XM, and I think your dad had like a interview on Sirius XM with I forget his name on Liquid Metal
Oh yeah,
and
I think he did like a takeover. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, he had that 1 hour takeover, and yeah, it was really cool. And he mentioned like you brought your significant other on for bass for this tour. How did that come about?
It was great. I recorded the bass on both of the records. So we never really had a solid bass player for live stuff. We had a buddy of ours who played that one show, but that was already going on 3 years ago. And it was one of those things once again where it was like, do we look for someone with a huge reputation in the metal scene, or someone from another band, or this or that? But yeah, I was actually just talking with my girlfriend one day, and she's a musician herself. She's been making music for over 20 years. She's played in punk bands for the last 20 years out of Phoenix. And she's really talented. She's a really good guitar player. She's a very good singer. And I kind of just threw it out there on a whim. I was like, would you want to play bass? I wasn't really sure how she was going to react. And I kind of just suggested it, like, hey, like, then you can be on the road with me. We don't have to go 9 weeks without seeing each other, this and that. And from the moment I said that, she was 100% on board, and we immediately started learning songs. I was just showing her the riffs. She was taking notes. She actually still has the notebook on stage every night when she plays, just to kind of refresh things. But she learned 15 songs in like 6 weeks, which to me was outstanding. I was like, you are the fastest learner. Like you picked that up so quick. And for me, it was my first time ever working with a romantic partner on music. It's always kind of been something for the boys a little bit, with me and my friends. And um, I was so happy about it, how it went and how dedicated she was, and how well she was picking up the songs. And here we are on the road. She's getting compliments. People are really appreciating her bass playing. And to me, like, inclusion is a very big part of what I do. Whether it's race, gender, background, financial status, anything. I don't really care about those things. I just want people who jam. And to bring some girl power into the band was a really positive thing, I think. And hopefully an influence to other young girls out there to play, to rock, to not let it be a guy's thing. And for me, that was just so awesome to have her and see the dedication that she put towards it, and keeping her chin up on the road. And this is a long tour. This is about 60 shows we're doing right now. And that can take a toll on even the most experienced musician, and she's just totally handling it like a champion. So I got nothing but positive things to say about it.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was just like, I just heard that interview with Jose on Liquid Metal with your dad, and I just thought that was cool. I didn't make that connection, but yeah, I think that's cool. You guys all like kind of work together as a family unit, and yeah, I mean, like bringing in like outside like musicians who I don't know might be hard, but like you guys all grew up together, so it's like cool that you guys can all just work together and like carry that unit like
Oh yeah, no,
moving forward.
family a little bit easier to work with than strangers, that's for sure.
Yeah. And there were I heard on that same interview with your dad and Jose on Liquid Metal that the last show is going to be at Maynard's place at Jerome. Um
Yeah, yeah, that's actually the official last date. Phoenix is the day before. And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be rad. When I heard that I think it's him and his wife opened that record shop up there, I was like, that is so cool, because Jerome is not really a town that you would think of having a scene and having some place for metal and punk and stuff like that. And when we got the offer to play there, it was 100% like, let's go do it. And it's actually a little crazy, because that's such a mountain town that the bus isn't able to drive up there, so we have to take the gear in a van, drive our own personal cars up the mountain to go to the show. And it also sold out in like 2 weeks, which, I mean, I
Whoa.
know it's not a huge place, but it was still very surprising that it sold out so fast in such a small town. And I love Arizona's small towns, and I love the support that you see in the mountain towns, and to get to play up there, I think is going to be an amazing experience and a really great way to end the tour.
Yeah, I've driven out there a few times. It's kind of scary. Yeah, the roads are like super like narrow,
Yep.
like only like compact cars can fit on the road. And yeah, I was just in that area over the weekend. There was a like a Arizona high school basketball tournament in Prescott Valley, which is like 30 minutes from there. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty scary going through those roads. But yeah, I can't imagine a bus like taking those narrow roads through the mountains.
Yeah, no, so we dump everything, and we're taking vans and stuff up there, and it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then I heard that, well, Maynard, if people don't know, Maynard is the vocalist of Tool. Like he only like lets bands he likes like go and play his venue, from what I
Yeah.
understand. So that's like a huge stamp of approval for you guys to play your last show there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, and I mean, for the most part, it seems like Maynard keeps his ear to the ground. Tool actually takes some very, very good bands to open up on tour. Like they took Yob, they took Elder, they took ISIS back in the day, and those are some of my favorite bands. So seeing a band with the magnitude of Tool taking somewhat lesser known weird bands on tour is actually a very good sign that they pay attention to what they're doing. And letting us play there is definitely a positive.
Yeah. But yeah, well, like I think that's probably the end of my like time here. I gotta go pick up my little guy from daycare pretty soon. But um I'm hoping to check out that show in Phoenix or Glendale. I just gotta like make sure I got like, I just gotta take care of some stuff here before I like go. But yeah, I was gonna ask. I always like ask this people when I talk to like if there are like any new bands or new albums you think people should check out.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons. personally, I've been on a weird kick lately, of kind of like shoegaze, spacey, actually not so much metal stuff. So just off the top of my head, I'd recommend to listen to they're called Fleshwater, their self-titled album. I think it came out in 2022. So relatively new, and I've been obsessed with that lately. Honestly, it's like a very weird cross between metal and noisy shoegaze kind of stuff. Two singers, guy and a girl. It's really interesting stuff and really weird, and that's kind of been my kick lately. So if you're looking for something new, check out Fleshwater.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I'm not familiar, but I will definitely check that out.
Awesome. Yeah, no, they're very good, and I mean, like I said, I'm always looking for new stuff.
Yeah. Oh well, speaking of Arizona bands, I got this in the mail today. Um, the Job for a Cowboy record.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard really good things about that. I mean, they're
yeah,
they're, they're Arizona. They're classics at this point.
yeah. Classic Arizona deathcore. Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to this today. But
For
that's the end
sure.
of that's the end of my time, Igor. Thanks again for talking with me.
Oh no, thank you. It was a pleasure, man. And I hope to see you in Phoenix and everybody out there watching. Yeah, keep an eye out for Go Ahead and Die, Healing Magic, Cavalera, everything that we're doing. We'll be in a city near you at some point, and keep representing AZ metal.
Oh, heck yeah. All right, man. Yeah, thanks again. I'm gonna hit the stop button here.